Alright, so I'm going to be showing off this Witch Hunter today. I don't even have full pass unlocked. For the most part, in the video that I have posted, I think it was yesterday or the day before, did the whole video without any ascendancy points, so I can make a build that'll be viable for the league. And so go over gems first real quick. You have galvanic shards with fork, primal armament, conduction, and martial tempo. Shock round burst with fresh clip, elemental focus, lightning infusion, concentrated effect. Herald of thunder with innervate, magnified effect, neutral overload, and electrocute. You should just be running Grim Feast. The skills sockets doesn't matter, you should just be running it because it's a good skill. I'm running conductivity with heightened cursed, arcane tempo, and persistence because we're not using any other spells. We can put arcane tempo here. And this is where some people use different ways to create their shock, but I'm doing it through Stormcaller's arrow. And what's most important is that we don't have any pierce, because right here, that 800% more chance to shock will be applying to bosses. So this will be our boss. So basically, Storm Arrow, Voltaic Mark, Conductivity, and Shock Round Burst is our boss skill. If you want to eke out a little damage, you can do War Banner along with it. So just for what I am just using a basic stat stacker setup with Fugitive Wraps and Ingenuity build and a Invictus. My Invictus doesn't have any stat stacking to it, but I'm just using it for survivability. This is my crossbow that I used throughout the entire campaign. Well, I guess since Act 3, normal Act 3. Used it all the way throughout cool Act 1 to 3. Doesn't matter, you don't need that much to get this to go. But in the second weapon switch, make sure we have the bow, and make sure we have no piercing. We do not want to pierce at all. I am using Whittle Hail because it has a bonus to this, and it doesn't do any piercing effects. It doesn't do anything extra, which is what I like about it. So I just had to have one decent quiver. So onto the passive tree, I'll show you guys. If I had more points, I'd go Colding Strike, and I just go up here, get Disseminating Strike, and then No Mercy, Witchbane. Pretty good for getting those stuns off. So as the equipment was a pretty basic stat stacker setup. I'm currently working down here for more electrocution buildup. Go down here for attributes. You want to get lightning damage with non-critical hits is lucky, because if you take a look at our Shock Round Burst here, does 15,000 damage, but that damage is 176 through 1,395. So imagine you're rolling 2 dice for the both of these, and it'll take the higher number over the 2. And that's what you want. It'll roll 2 dice every time you're doing damage, and it'll try to grab the higher dice. So you're guaranteed to do the more damage. Then again, basic stat stacking over here, go up and grab the 1% per 250 EC. Right here we have 4,384 per, and every 250 we get 1%. Click this right here just for a little bit of movement speed. So on our weapon switch for our weapon set 2, grab all of these nodes right here, because you go down, that's magnitude of shock, so that's damage on bosses. Increase shock duration, and shock duration. And then these guys right here are magnitude of shock you inflict. Over here, of course, you want to take affected by Herald, you deal more damage. Run up a little bit, left, go down here to grab electrocution buildup on your weapon swap. Of course, we got attack speed for 15 dex. Run over to the right, you grab dex node, come up for evasion rating and dexterity. All the way over here to the left, which is what I'm working on right now, you get 2 evasion rating for 1 max energy shield on your helmet. Keep heading up the tree, and you go down to get this wild storm. And right next to it, head up for more evasion rating. Now, we're just normal stat stacking stuff. Come up here, you'll gain intelligence, and of course increase maximum energy shield. So this is where I'm at currently right now with my points, but what we need to do is other nodes that we need to get are going to be pure power. This is pretty important, so pretty early on I bound it to my necklace, my amulet. But you'll want to go up here manually, go grab this, and then down here you want to put on your weapon swap 15% chance shock, and magnitude and shock you inflict. Then eventually we'll just come all the way down over here to this jewel socket, go down, of course grab mind over matter, and from this jewel socket as well, I'd probably go down over here to grab the magnitude, increased magnitude of non-damaging elements you inflict, and the duration of elemental ailments. So that's just the duration of shock. So why did I stat stack? Well, the thing is that stat stacking is basically guaranteed to work during the next league. I know that stat stacking is fairly easy to do, and overall, it's fairly cheap. Of course, focus dex and intelligence over strength. And yeah, that's all I can really recommend. This build isn't really meant for like true solo play. What I want to be able to do is have it as like a buffer and debuffer, which is why I was focusing more on buffing and debuffing during campaign, because I wanted to make it the most broken I can for buffing and debuffing. So as you see, T15s, clearing solo, absolutely no problem. Mind you, they're not juice, so keep that in mind. Stormcaller arrow 3 times, then I voltaic mark, which is guaranteed to hit, and then conductivity, which should give them a minus like 40% resistance. I then switch to ShockBurst Rounds, excuse me, and I just hold left click, which will auto swap me to my Shock Round Burst, my fire. Okay, so great example of how I do my DPS. I make sure I have Shock Round Burst selected, curse, voltaic mark, shock him, place down my banner, and hit. If you see here, I shocked him through the use of galvanic shards, so I didn't have to swap over to Stormcaller arrow to get that extra shock damage off using shotgun bursts. Okay, here we are at, I believe, the boss. Yep, here we are. And so he is going to activate here. And we are going to do our DPS strategy. I'm going to reload my crossbow. Here we go. Conduit, voltaic mark, Make sure he's shot and shoot. Forgot my banner. That's unfortunate. There we go. See, that wasn't bad. Definitely would be better with a friend who's more based around DPS, like a DPS central friend. But it is possible to be running solo content. So, you guys have a good one. Till next time, bye bye.